This morning, as you rise, you are not just waking up into another day. You are stepping into a divine assignment. Hear me, the realm of the spirit responds to voices, not intentions. What you declare becomes what you experience. Heaven has already spoken, but it takes a believer who understands authority to echo the sound of God upon the earth. Today, I decree over you, your morning will not be ordinary, your steps will not be casual, and your journey will not be without covering. Every morning declaration becomes a verdict in the realm of the spirit. You are about to establish your atmosphere, frame your day, and command your destiny by the word of God. Lift your voice, engage your heart, and declare these scriptures with power. This is not recitation, it is legislation. Prayer activates divine protection in a way that transcends human reasoning. Because prayer is not merely a religious exercise, it is a spiritual technology that opens the corridors of the invisible realm and summons the covering of God over your life. Whenever a believer prays, especially from a place of sincerity and alignment with God's will, there is a stirring in the unseen. Forces you cannot see begin to move. Angels you didn't call by name begin to respond, and atmospheres around you begin to shift in obedience to spiritual law. Prayer is the believer's loud announcement to darkness that they are not walking alone, not standing alone, not fighting alone. It is the declaration that the covering of the Almighty has been invoked, and every malicious intention formed against them must now bow to a higher authority. Divine protection does not happen by accident. It is released through spiritual engagement. When a person prays, they acknowledge God as their ultimate defender, and that very posture of surrender creates room for heaven's intervention. Prayer is the invitation that permits the hand of God to stretch forth and shield his own from danger, destruction, and premature assault. Many dangers pass by unnoticed. Many traps are dismantled before they even appear, and many arrows are turned back before they can touch your life, all because prayer went ahead of you to sanitize your environment and secure your journey. Prayer sends forth a sound into the realm of the spirit that says, this one is marked, this one is covered, this one is under covenant. And the kingdom of darkness knows how to interpret spiritual markings. Every time you pray for divine protection, you build a spiritual wall around your life piece by piece. It is not a fragile barrier formed by emotion. It is a fortress constructed from the promises of God, the blood of the Lamb, and the authority given to you through Christ. Prayer fastens those elements together and turns them into a shield that cannot be penetrated by forces of cruelty. Even when you cannot see what is coming, prayer becomes your eyes. Even when you are not aware of the plots rising in dark places, prayer becomes your defense. No believer survives the wickedness of the world by chance. They survive because something in them refuses to begin a day uncovered. Prayer becomes the clothing of the spirit, the armor of the heart, the mantle that wraps around every step you take. A praying believer carries an atmosphere with them. There is a fragrance that follows them, an invisible but tangible spiritual signature that signals that God's presence surrounds them. Environments respond to that presence. People who intend evil become confused. Accidents divert. Attacks dissolve. Unseen entities withdraw. Not because the person is powerful in themselves, but because prayer has magnetized the presence of God toward their direction. And where God is present, danger loses its authority. A person who prays becomes a moving sanctuary, a walking expression of divine security, a carrier of the fire of God that burns against encroaching darkness. Prayer also activates discernment, another dimension of divine protection. Sometimes protection is not only about God stopping danger, it is also about God showing you what to avoid. Prayer sharpens your inner senses, tuning your spirit to hear warnings, nudges, and redirections that you would otherwise ignore. You find yourself delaying a journey without knowing why. taking a different route, saying no to a meeting, or stepping away from a conversation, only to realize later that God was guiding you away from harm. Prayer keeps your spiritual antenna alive, preventing you from walking blindly into the traps of the enemy. When you pray, you not only ask God to protect you, you align yourself with His protective system. His word becomes your sword. His presence becomes your shield. His angels become your escorts. Prayer activates these dimensions simultaneously. It strengthens your confidence, knowing that you are surrounded even when alone, guarded even when unaware, defended even when asleep. There is a peace that floods your heart because prayer has shifted the battle from your hands to God's hands. You no longer walk into the day fearful of what might happen. You walk boldly, knowing heaven has gone ahead of you. In the realm of the spirit, silence is vulnerability. A quiet believer is a spiritually exposed believer. But a praying believer is an armed believer. Prayer declares to darkness that your life is off limits. It seals your home, your path, your mind, and your destiny. It summons the God who neither sleeps nor slumbers to keep watch over you. And when God watches over you, no force in any realm can outmaneuver His vigilance. Prayer makes you untouchable, unmovable, and unreachable by the arrows that fly by day or the terrors that lurk in the night. Through prayer, you step into a covering that is impenetrable, and you walk under the shadow of the Almighty, safe, secured, and preserved. To speak over your day with authority is to step into the original mandate God gave humanity: to rule, to subdue, and to govern creation through the power of words. Every day arrives like an empty canvas, carrying both visible and invisible possibilities. It responds not first to your actions, but to your declarations. What you say in the morning becomes the spiritual architecture that shapes the hours ahead. Authority is not noise, it is alignment with divine order. When you speak from that alignment, heaven backs your voice, circumstances yield, atmospheres shift, and unseen forces adjust themselves to the blueprint of your confession. Your words are not mere sounds, they are tools, weapons, seeds, and laws in the realm of the spirit. When you wake up and remain silent, you allow the day to speak first, and whatever speaks first establishes dominance. But when you rise and declare, when you arise and prophesy over your day, you become the first voice to legislate what is permitted and what is forbidden. You speak life into the hours ahead, establishing boundaries that darkness cannot cross.